Hey, so remember a while back I made a few videos going over Joe Enders, the fucking Nick Fuentes and John Doyle wannabe Catholic super based red pill guy? Well, for quite some time now, I've been watching a series of videos on this channel called Church Militant. And as it turns out, Church Militant is actually this little organization that our boy Joey here works for. And one of the people that just so happens to have his very own little series of videos on this channel is a man by the name of Michael. Now, Michael here is a special boy. He's basically what you would get if you have Sean Hannity and bland Alex Jones have a baby, and you sprinkle in a little bit of Catholicism. Yeah, that's pretty much our boy here, Michael, knows. And anyway, he's got a show called The Fucking Vortex where he just rambles on about things that are affecting everyday American life and Catholicism, and how everyone that's to the left of the Supreme Orange God King is the devil incarnate there. But I got a video lined up for us to go over today. It's his more recent video, and he's just going to scream about how communism is everywhere now. Apparently, he never got the memo that the Cold War fucking ended.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. In order to be a leader, you have to have the trait of connecting the dots, of seeing the interconnection between things. Wisdom, after all, is that very thing, seeing how various things, some clear, others not so clear, actually align with each other and are all part of the so-called big picture. So for the usual Joe Six-Pack, there are all sorts of things just happening. And yes, while it's true, at least in the natural order, that many things just happen, car accidents, losing your keys, burning your dinner, there are also other things that are definitely related. And in this area, the discerning mind will observe a critical difference. Some related things are obviously related. Television ad revenues, for example, relate directly to how many people watch a given show. But others are not so obvious, at least at first. For example, and the Focus Church Militant is bringing more and more to all of this, the coincidences in the advancement of communism. Yeah, around the world for sure, but most importantly, right here in the U.S. Since the Russian Revolution, it has been well understood by the commies that the West was the enemy with its foundational Catholic principles. The conclusion.
Right. It's Catholic principles. That's the thing the commies were really ass blasted about. It's not, it's not the capitalism, it's not the imperialism, it's not Christianity or religion as a whole there. It's none of those things. None of those things at all. No, it's the fucking Catholics. It's the Catholics that made the fucking communists hate the West so much there. It's not other things that factor into the fucking Reds' hatred of the West and everything it stands for. No. It's definitely the fault of the fucking Catholics.
Of World War II catapulted the United States into the position of sole world power, and with that position came the enmity of the Soviet Union. We had the bomb, they did not. End of story. As long as we enjoyed military superiority, their world domination plans had to be put on hold and sort of rethought. So they stole the secrets to the bomb from us, made their own, and thus began the nuclear arms race and the Cold War.
Actually, it's more like a bunch of U.S. citizens gave secrets about the Manhattan Project over to the Reds. And, there were some spies, naturally, spying on the Manhattan Project and giving the information to the Soviets. But A lot of American traders also played a part in giving the Soviets the secrets to building the bomb there.
Once military parity had been achieved, things quickly got back on track for the Kremlin. Proxy wars were fought all over the globe for the next 40 years. But what many Americans failed to get is that some of those proxy wars were actually being fought on U.S. soil in our own institutions, the courts, politics, universities, media, religion, and so forth. And here's where the connecting of the dots needs to
Citation needed, please.
occur, and sadly for many, still hasn't. Way too many, it hasn't. In order to gain absolute control over America and shatter the West, communism would ultimately have to gain control over a major American political party.
I know him and a bunch of other people like to compare the Democrat Party to like being infiltrated by the commies, but I very am interested now in seeing how Michael here would react to MAGA communism. Yes, that's an actual thing. I believe it's a shit post, but I wager it's going to be one of those shit posts that goes out of control, you know, like QAnon there. So I very am interested in seeing little Mikey Boy's here reaction to MAGA communism. How some people who support Donald Trump also think Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping are based there. I really want to see his fucking face. And I really want him to make a video talking about MAGA communism. I guarantee he will shit a fucking brick the moment he hears about MAGA communism and how his side has been infiltrated by the commies.
Democrats had always styled themselves as being for the little man, which did have some element of truth to it back in the day, way back in the day. But as Ronald Reagan so famously said in 1964, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me and left America as well, as America had largely understood.
Something tells me that in Michael's eyes there, the turn of the Democrat Party no longer being for the little man, something tells me he would place it around the time the Civil Rights Act was signed into law there. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But something tells me that around the time the Civil Rights Act was signed into law there, that's when the Democrat Party, no longer became the party of the people, at least according to people like Mikey and Ronald Reagan, no doubt. Maybe it's just me.
Stood itself anyway. The Soviet Union collapsing was not the end of communism, although practically...
Really? Because everyone was running around jumping for joy the minute the fucking Soviets fell in on themselves. Well, that and the Berlin Wall fell apart. I mean, the ramifications of the Soviet Union falling apart were pretty fucking felt worldwide. I mean, not only was the West celebrating, but you take a long look at nations like Cuba and North Korea. They relied on the Soviet Union for trade and the propping up their fucking economy. Once the fucking Soviets collapsed in on themselves, their fucking economies got hit pretty goddamn hard, and China wasn't the major superpower it is today back then. So, yeah, I think communism as we know it, really did end after the Soviets fucking fell there. Only problem is we now gotta contend with a new brand of communism, which is what the Chinese are rolling out.
Everyone in the West viewed it that way. It was nothing more than an infection killing its host organism, but not before having overrun the West, which now too is being killed. It was the institutions that were infected, slowly and unnoticeable at first, barely perceptible, like how many cancers just creep up on people initially. Getting control of the institutions, especially media and universities, meant getting getting control of the average person's mind and reorienting their thinking with a very heavy concentration.
Universities have been well known to be places of liberal thought and ideals. And universities have always been places where people can get their ideas challenged and debate their ideals with other people of different idealistic values here. Nothing has really changed when it comes to universities. Except maybe, your way of thinking, your way of life is no longer really considered to be the norm. But that's just the fucking wheel of progress continuing to spin and spin and spin there.
On young minds, more susceptible to the propaganda because of their lack of worldly experience. Young people can always be fooled with appeals to emotion. Heck, a lot of older people can, for that fact.
Yourself included?
Especially baby boomers who set the whole paradigm in motion. And when enough young people who are always in the process of growing up and becoming the next generations, when they can be persuaded that the past is bad, then the commies have paved the way for a takeover of a political party. It was the combo of hearing it in school and then that being reinforced in media that convinced so many former young people, now boomers, to throw off the old. This week, we're going to be highlighting the conversion of the American Republic to the People's Republic of America and how media, education, and religion.
Okay, I'm calling it now. There's going to be a couple of videos that he fucking uploads to the fucking channel where he calls Joe Biden a communist. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. He is going to mention Lord knows how many times that Joe Biden is a fucking communist. You can even make a drinking game about it if you want. I highly don't recommend it since you're gonna fucking die of alcohol poisoning at the 7-minute mark, but you want to do it, up to you, You do you, boo.
Played such a vital role and still do in bringing about the collapse. It's an extremely clever and highly technical conquest of our country. Are you going to stand for it?
Yeah.
God love you. I'm Michael Voris.
All right. Holy fuck. So, yeah, that's Mr. Michael Voris here, the Sean Hannity wannabe. Not as funny to point and laugh at as Mr. Joey Enders there, but it's nice to broaden the horizons there. It's nice to shed a spotlight on other crazy Catholics. They're not always the most funny, the most entertaining to point and laugh at, but they still need a little spotlight shined on them. If you are interested in watching some of Church Militant's other content, I'm going to be leaving a link to the channel in the description below so you can check out the other interesting things they have to say about the world that we live in. Maybe I will go over some of his future videos on communism throughout the week. I'm not 100% sure yet. No promises. But until then, have a good rest of your day.